US President Joe Biden has arrived in Poland after a surprise visit to Ukraine, where he announced a further $500 million aid package.
3 dead and hundreds injured as a new earthquake hits the same parts of Turkey and Syria where tens of thousands died 2 weeks ago. Benjamin Netanyahu's controversial plans to overhaul Israel's judiciary, giving politicians more power, has passed its first parliamentary vote.
US President Joe Biden arriving in Poland late Monday after making an unannounced visit to Kyiv, where he met with his Ukrainian counterpart, President Volodymyr Zelensky. Biden's unprecedented visit to the capital of a country at war was highly symbolic as Ukraine prepares to mark the first anniversary of the Russian invasion. Closely surrounded by a large security detail, Biden was escorted by Zelensky on a walkabout around central Kyiv as air sirens could be heard wailing across the city.
Democracy stands. The Americans stand with you, and the world stands with you. Kyiv has captured a part of my heart, I must say.
During his visit, Biden announced a new $500 million aid package to Ukraine, which includes the supply of artillery ammunition and anti-armor systems. The speech he will give in Poland later today is timed as a rebuke to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who's due to give a State of the Nation speech that is expected to be largely devoted to the conflict. In what is his second visit to Warsaw in less than a year, Biden will meet with the Polish president and hold talks with leaders of 9 countries on NATO's eastern flank. This Ukrainian family fled to Portugal almost a year ago when Olena was pregnant with her second child. 10-year-old Dimitro is one of more than 14,000 minors who've arrived in Portugal since the beginning of the war. But only some 32% of these children are attending Portuguese schools.
Один день він був в португальській школі, але із-за того, що не було жодного українського хлопчика чи дівчинки, йому там стало дуже сумно, незрозуміла мова, він трішечки злякався. І ми вирішили не травмувати ще далі дитину і все ж таки займатися онлайн в нашій українській школі.
Every day from 6 in the morning Portuguese time, Dimitro follows classes given online by the school he used to attend in Ukraine. Sometimes they are interrupted by bombing or power outages. He says he misses his friends there.
У мене є друзі в Португалії. Я з ними познайомився, теж українці. Ми з ними познайомилися, коли грали. Та ще я ходжу в українську школу по суботам, і в мене там є друзі.
The Association of Ukrainians in Portugal explains why many Ukrainian families are not sending their children to Portuguese schools.
Alguns explicam que o objetivo deles voltar. Outros explicam que ainda vão acabar este ano letivo na escola ucraniana e depois estudando mais português e no início de setembro já vão para a escola portuguesa.
No início do ano letivo, o ministro português da Educação mostrou-se preocupado com o reduzido número de refugiados ucranianos inscritos nas escolas portuguesas. Filipa Soares, Vila Nova de Gaia, Euronews.
It's lunchtime at Albina Okulova's home. The 51-year-old Ukrainian fled from Kyiv right after the Russian invasion. She came to Potsdam in Germany with her mother Ludmila and daughter Ksenia. Albina's son Danilo is also in Potsdam. He's been living and studying here since 2020. Albina is relieved to be now reunited with her family and also thankful for being able to live in peace in Germany.
Бо я приїхала сюди в одному спортивному костюмі та з 200 євро в кармані і все. А тепер я спокійна, що Моя донька навчається, я маю змогу вчитися і потім працювати.
It's not the first time that Albina has had to start over. Until 2015, she used to live and work as a doctor in Crimea. After the Russian annexation, she fled to Kyiv. Her 15-year-old daughter now goes to a so-called welcome class in Potsdam.
Yes, it's hard because I'm in a new situation, in new country, and it's hard, but I can do it.
Albina is driving to a governmental office in Potsdam, where she needs to apply for German classes. She wants to learn the language as soon as possible to be able to work as a doctor again. It's difficult because the bureaucracy takes a lot of time, a thing most Ukrainians in Germany struggle with, she says.
Мене це без кінця бентежить. Я не можу мати спокій, бо мені постійно приходиться якісь робити папіри, які то закінчуються, то кінець року, і я не маю ніякого спокою, щоб займатися навчанням та вихованням доньки.
Over 1 million Ukrainians have come to Germany as refugees since the war began. And although government support is now working better, there are still major challenges. The main problem is a shortage of housing, especially in major cities like Berlin. But there are many other problems, according to the Vidscher organization, a Berlin-based association that, among other things, provides assistance to Ukrainian refugees.
Ähnlich ist es zum Beispiel auch mit der Jobsuche und den Schulplätzen und den Kitaplätzen. Wenn es keine Kitaplätze gibt, dann können die Mütter zum Beispiel nicht in die Integrationskurse und nicht in die Sprachkurse gehen. Und dann ist das natürlich auch schwierig mit der Jobsuche danach, weil in vielen Bereichen braucht man halt die deutsche Sprache.
To tackle the housing problem, local authorities set up containers as temporary housing for refugees. Ludmila, Albina's mother, lives in one of them. But the 71-year-old doesn't complain. Although she worries about and misses her relatives in Ukraine, she's happy to have a roof over her head in Germany and thankful she was reunited with her family in a safe place.
Panic in Hatay province in southern Turkey as another earthquake strikes the region that was devastated 2 weeks ago, destroying fragile buildings, trapping more people inside. This time it was a 6.4 magnitude tremor. At least 3 people are reported to have died, with another 213 injured. Turkish authorities have recorded more than 6,000 aftershocks since the February the 6th earthquake. This one was the strongest so far.
Yani insanlar panik oldular. Tabii çok güçlü bir deprem oldu. Bizim de çadırlarımızın bulunduğu yere yakın bir bina vardı. O yüzden daha fazla panik olan insanlar oldu. Engelli ailesinden engelli olan insanlar oldu.
Öncesinde böyle bu kadar büyük bir depreme denk gelmemiştim. Hatay'a ben de gönüllü olarak Türkiye İş Partisi ile geldim. Buradaki afet koordinasyon merkezimizde depremzedelere gönüllü olarak yardım ediyoruz. Aslında onların yaşadığı psikolojiyi az buçuk anlamış olduk. Çünkü gerçekten inanılmaz korku dolu bir an.
Rebel-held parts of Syria were also hit by the new earthquake. Search and rescue services and the Syrian civil defence, known as the White Helmets, reported the latest tremor had damaged buildings across a number of cities and towns. They said people had been injured by falling debris, as well as from jumping from elevated positions in fear of more destruction. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government's plans to overhaul the country's legal system passed their first hurdle despite uproar among many Israelis. The 63-47 Knesset vote after midnight gave initial approval to a plan that will give Netanyahu's coalition more power over who becomes a judge. It's part of a broader package of changes that seeks to weaken the country's Supreme Court and transfer more power to the ruling coalition. The legislators cast their votes after a vitriolic debate. During the session, opposition lawmakers chanted shame and wrapped themselves in the Israeli flag, and some were ejected from the hall. Thousands of protesters have staged rallies objecting to the move. Netanyahu's ultra-religious and ultra-nationalist allies say these changes are needed to rein in the powers of an unelected judiciary. Critics fear the judges will be appointed based on loyalty to the government or Prime Minister. The vote's just the first of 3 readings required for parliamentary approval, a process that is expected to take months.
European heavyweights Liverpool and Real Madrid will lock horns in the Champions League last 16 in a repeat of last season's final. Back in May, Mo Salah's teammates failed to deliver in Paris and were eventually denied a 7th European title. With many players injured, their manager Jurgen Klopp knows they'll have to perform at their very best if they want to go through.
We need to play 2 super games, to be honest, to get through. But I have no problem with that, because if you don't play your best, you don't have a chance. Real Madrid doesn't have to play their best and still have a chance, and that's the difference, and that's pretty special. But I can't wait.
After a relatively slow start to the season, Karim Benzema's teammates have added another Club World Cup title to their trophy cabinet. The French international and Ballon d'Or winner will be part of the squad, but his compatriots Aurélien Tchouaméni and Toni Kroos will both miss out. Liverpool have lost their last 6 games against Real, the longest ever streak without success against a single opponent in the Champions League. Elsewhere, Napoli returned to the knockout phase for the first time in 3 years when they travelled to Frankfurt. Luciano Spalletti should have no injury concerns ahead of the game, and the Italian manager will want to pick up where he left off following a scintillating Group A campaign.